Hey everybody, welcome to week 6 in social problems. So we're going to be looking at your chapter 6 module. We're going to be taking on economic inequality, wealth, and poverty. So we're going to talk a lot about social stratification. That is basically how any society groups people together. In the United States, we officially do that using social class. So that includes the poor, the working class, the middle class, the wealthy class, the one percenters. We also do it in other more unofficial ways like race, ethnicity, gender, sexuality. But as far as on the books and through the government, we tend to use social class. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how things like economic inequality, such as the difference between the one percenters and the middle class, is becoming a real problem in society. The difference between wealth and poverty and why there is such a huge gap there. And you're going to kind of be looking at all the different ways that economic inequality really does push social issues. It's not just an individual problem, it can be a huge social burden in a lot of different institutional ways, such as an education. We know that if you grow up in a really nice, affluent neighborhood, the public school that you go to, is going to have state-of-the-art stuff. It's going to have computers. It's going to have all the latest technology and resources that you need to get a prime education so that you can move on to college. But if you grow up in like a poor urban neighborhood or in a demographic where the poverty-stricken people tend to outnumber or are more disproportionate to anybody else, you know that those public schools are going to have less. They're going to have the bare minimum. They're going to be hurting for qualified teachers, so they're going to try and put anybody in there and try and help them succeed to be qualified. But otherwise, you're getting the bare minimum you need to pass school, which does not help when you apply for college or when you look at your college options or even your job options. We can see that very clearly when we take our first college English course, if we've been prepared to write in a college-worthy manner. And that all comes down to economic inequality. And so that's just one way. So things that programs and things that exist to help poverty-stricken people are our current ways of trying to curb this problem. But really, a lot of it comes down to the wealthy, not the poor. We know that in certain presidential elections, we listen for people who want to tax the rich. And we're like, yes, that's what we want. Or they want to forgive student debt. And we're like, yes, that's what we want. All of this comes down to economic inequality. So you'll notice in this module, I've given you a crash course. It's called Social Class and Poverty in the United States. This is something I use in my sociology classes. And since this is a sociology course, it kind of gives you a great perspective through a sociological lens of what economic inequality in the United States looks like. It's about 10 minutes. All I want you to do is watch it to kind of further your education on this. You, of course, have your chapter to read. Remember, when you click in here, however you decide to read the chapter is up to you. If you want to just go with the terms and understand the terminology, if you want to do interactive reading and just kind of answer different questions, do the chapter review, if you want to read word for word, totally up to you. Your PowerPoint, it is embedded in the course now, so if you just click on it, it pops right up. You don't have to download it or anything, okay? So you have that to review. And you have your explore exercise. So this is your simulation, your mind tap. You're going to be taking on the role of a college admissions officer. So you get to decide based on 2 candidates who you're going to admit into your college. The idea you're taking on here is meritocracy, which is basically looking at a person and determining their worth based on what they have or what they can earn. Okay, and so this one will be very interesting. Based on your decisions, you're going to answer 3 questions. You'll have an end result. Remember, for mind taps, the 3 questions, your answers have to be 3 to 5 sentences. to count for full points. Otherwise, I'll start docking points. Okay, so 3 to 5 sentences per question. All right, and then you have a confronting social problems exercise. Remember, you click in here to complete the actual assignment as well as submit it. You're going to be taking on the term cultural capital. Okay, so this is a term for class-based informal knowledge, taste, and preferences. Economic inequality can create differences in cultural capital that can make moving up the social ladder harder for those with fewer resources. So this is what I was talking about when I was talking about public schools in affluent suburban neighborhoods versus public schools in urban poverty-stricken neighborhoods. They provide you with a different set of knowledge, okay, as well as taste and preferences. So what you're going to do is you're going to view this video that explains the connection between family life, social class, and cultural capital. Then you're going to watch this video about first-generation college students. Okay, so you have 2 videos to watch for this exercise. And then you're going to answer the follow-up questions using 3 to 5 sentences per question. Okay, so 5 questions, 3 to 5 sentences each. Obviously, you're not expected to disclose personal information that you do not wish to share. Okay, these questions are going to talk about how, with taking money and pushing that to the side, what other things make attending college more challenging for students who do not come from middle class or wealthy backgrounds? What are some of the unique strengths of students who do not come from middle class backgrounds? Then you need to consider your own social class. What are examples of your cultural capital? Has this advantaged or disadvantaged you in the college setting? Okay, share what you're comfortable sharing there. How can these advantages and disadvantages affect mobility? Mobility means your chances of moving up or down that social ladder. Okay, so if you're a middle class individual, maybe you're trying to get to a wealthy state, and so how does cultural capital affect that mobility? And then, given your answers, what policies would you suggest to even the playing field for under-resourced students in higher education? Okay, so these are things that you would think would be helpful for education, whether it's students who come from a poverty-stricken neighborhood or an affluent neighborhood. What can we do to even that playing field so both students have adequate access to higher education and one student doesn't have more advantage than the other? Okay, so this is your exercise this week. Remember, you're watching 2 videos. You're discussing cultural capital as it affects your ability to go to college, and you are answering all 5 of these questions using 3 to 5 sentences per question. Okay, to upload this assignment, you're going to use the right submission box or the file attachment. I only accept Word or PDF. Okay, I can't open anything else. Do not use the comments section. I will kick it back to you. Okay, and then last but not least, you obviously have your short chapter quiz. Okay, I always recommend using the PowerPoint to take the chapter quiz. If y'all guys have any questions over Module 6, let me know. Otherwise, I wish y'all good luck, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week.